and we continue the focus on the success of IEB class of 2023 that's obtained a 98.46% pass rate. This is a 0.4% improvement from the class of 2022. Now, as this class celebrates its big achievement, another journey begins, and that is that of furthering their studies. Well, one of the IEB top achievers is Khanya Mhlongo. He is from the Hilton College, who will be jetting off to the United States as he has been accepted at Yale University. Khanya joins me now. Khanya, good morning. It must be a very, very happy moment for you.
Good morning. It's definitely been a happy moment, filled with gratitude and just excitement for what the future holds.
Yeah, talk to us about what you obtained. What do the results say?
So I achieved 7 distinctions and a 91% average, which makes me Scholar of the Year at Hilton College, which is equivalent to Ducks.
Phew. This is absolutely exciting. 7 distinctions, my goodness. So, I know that you've been interviewed by a number of fellow media houses, and the reason I know this is that you have been quoted thanking a number of people, and key among them, your family. Just talk to us about the people who supported you along this journey.
Of course, I have to start with my parents. I think there's nowhere else where I could start. I think my mom has been a big supporter of me. Always the first person to send me messages, Khanya, good luck for exams, you got this. And that little bit of extra motivation always helps.
Yeah.
And then my dad, who's just always been very supportive of me. Anything that I ask for when it comes to school, financially, is always willing to support me. Takes on that burden, takes on that pressure, and he never expects anything back. He can just trust me to use the resources well. And so definitely my parents have to thank. And then I have 2 lovely sisters as well who kind of gang up on me all the time, but I love them and I know they love me back. And they've always been a good support to me. So yeah, my whole family has been a very strong support base for me.
Talk to us about the kind of support that the school has been giving you, the class of 2023. How would you describe the help from teachers?
So I think the entire Hilton College experience is what you make of it. I think that's the easiest way to sum it up. So all the resources are there and they're available to you, and they're incredible teachers who mark at IEB level and really know what they're doing. So if you go out of your way to ask for extra lessons and make sure you ask questions when you don't understand something, they're always going to be willing to help. I often feel bad for my teachers because sometimes when I'm working early in the morning, I'll just send them questions at like 5:30. And they always reply when they wake up at about 6.
Yeah.
Even late in the evening, sometimes I'm throwing them questions because I'm somebody who doesn't quite naturally always get things. I'm sometimes the last person in class to understand, but I'll make sure that eventually I do understand. So my teachers being a resource to help me get to this point has been a huge factor. They're always willing to go above and beyond the call of duty.
So let's talk about the big announcement that came with this now, and that is that you have been accepted at Yale University. And I'm going to begin first with the college's director of advancement, who's been quoted saying these words: "We are very proud of him, but this was not unexpected given the type of person he is. Khanya has always been hardworking and ambitious." Talk to us about how this Yale University journey came about.
So when I was in grade 8, I'd always sort of heard of people going overseas, but it was a very distant thing. And it didn't really feel like a reality until I started seeing some guys in older grades at Hilton going to some incredible universities like Harvard and Stanford. And I really realized that this is something that could actually happen if I work towards it. And I think the academic journey didn't really begin with sort of Yale as an end goal. But at the beginning of this year and last year even, it definitely became something that was a strong focus for me. And then obviously having a school that has the ability to help you. I had Dr. Dubois at school, who I must mention the name because he was very helpful with the whole application process. and then a few friends in the US who I'd met at summer programs who helped me understand more about what these US colleges were looking for and how to write the essays that they want to read about.
And so you are now accepted at Yale University. Why Yale? And perhaps it might be a rhetorical question because it is certainly one of the most prestigious universities there is. In fact, one of the third oldest, as I was reading up on it this morning, preparing for this interview. Why Yale, and what is it that you're going to be studying there?
So the number one thing about, I think a lot of these universities share is just great communities of people. Really interesting, really intelligent people who are passionate about their craft. And being surrounded by those communities is something that is rare, and it helps to push you and become better at yourself. I think secondly, and specifically to Yale, is their undergraduate writing. So I'm somebody who's done a fair amount of writing, and it's been a big part of my application actually, and English and etc. and history as well. And so for me, Yale's undergraduate writing, I've been following for a while. I've read some essays and pieces on the Yale Daily Journal and some Journal of Sociology, I think it was called. And they just had some fascinating research there. And so that's pretty much where I decided, like, this is something that I would love to be a part of and contribute to. The central thing that I found that I enjoy in high school was also something that's going to give me more of a platform at Yale. So I'd say the undergraduate writing is the specific thing that I enjoyed about Yale, alongside the community there.
Wow. And as we conclude this conversation, talk to us about how you were able to balance your studies versus the leadership role that you had. You were a deputy head boy at Hilton College. Was that something that worried you a bit? And I'm making reference to it because the CEO of the IEB was quoted this morning as saying that the amount of pressure visited upon young minds like yourself is that you must excel in almost every aspect, whether it be extracurricular activities. Of course, the academics have got to be front and center of that. And so most of the time you tend to see that mental health becomes an issue. How were you able to balance this?
So I took a very blunt approach, and I went to this year asking myself, what are the most important things? Number one was obviously getting into a university that I feel like would propel my life into a significantly better future, which I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to have had. And then number two was obviously academics, which was part of that. And then number three was my leadership role. So I had those three things that I really wanted to prioritize, and a lot of other things kind of did suffer. So there were points when I was thinking to myself, I really could be a lot happier right now, and I could be going out and I could be doing all of these things.
Yeah.
But I recognized that if I sacrifice for a year, just put my head down and only lift it back up on the other side once I'm finished, I would have the rest of my life to have a lot of fun in a lot of different avenues and a lot of different experiences. And so I think just making sure that you have a few priorities and sticking to those priorities was definitely something that helped. But also leadership for me was almost a break, because I actually really, really enjoyed leadership. I think it was kind of the main thing for my leadership was about personal relationships. Yeah. And sometimes that's just from seeing people from a distance, and sometimes it's more personal because I wouldn't approach two people the same. I wouldn't address two issues the same. It's always personalized. So leadership was always sometimes a little bit of a break for me as well from the hustle and bustle, you just in your study alone of academic rigor.
Yeah, and you see now you've really you've gotten yourself into trouble, because I have more questions for you. You say that you've had to, you told yourself you had to sacrifice for a year. I was reading up on one of the high achievers this morning, and he says when you talk about sacrifice, he had to delete all of his social media accounts. He quit sport. I think he played rugby, cricket, and I can't remember what the other activity was. And he says this proved to be almost a drawback in terms of the amount of time he wanted to dedicate to his studies. I think he studied for about 8 hours a day. Juxtapose him to what you had to sacrifice. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make?
So social media was definitely something that I had to delete. People scroll hours and hours on Instagram Reels and TikTok and Snapchat. So it was definitely something dangerous that I had to avoid. And for me, like I alluded to just now, I love personal connections and relationships with people and communities. I think it's something that all Africans kind of appreciate. And so when a lot of people are going out and they're saying, let's do this, let's do that on the weekend, let's have some fun here, it was kind of difficult to just be like, no, I can't do that right now. I actually can't afford that time. I need to focus on my academics. I wouldn't advise that you do that your whole high school career, because I think it's very important to meet people and know how to speak to other people and connect with others.
Yeah.
But there should be a period in time where you just kind of like, you need to cut ties and make sure that you focus on your academics and you don't speak to some friends of yours, some very good friends of yours, for months at a time. But then they'll message you in Jan and they'll be like, I'm proud of you. I understand why you did what you did, and everything will make sense.
Final question. So, when do you jet off? And let's give a leg up, as they say, to those that are going to come after you. What advice would you have for them?
So I jet off in August. I'll probably head in April to the US, actually, because Yale has a Bulldogs week that I'm excited to attend. But advice to people who are who are still waiting, I would say definitely just keep calm. I had a house master in grade 8 and 9, Mr. Stenkamp. He loved Stoic philosophy, and so I took a lot from that. And the one thing that I took was there are things within your control and there are things outside of your control. By now, you've done your applications, you've sent them, you can't control everything. The only thing you can regulate is your own emotions and your own mind. So keep that at ease, keep that calm, enjoy the time that you're going to spend with your friends, because it might be shorter now. You might have to jet off to the US. So yeah, that's pretty much all my advice. And don't take it too harshly if it doesn't go your way. It's very competitive. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't take it too harshly.
Mhlongo Onjomane, am I correct?
Yes, you are.
There you are, Njomane. Thank you very much, and good luck to you, man, to the United States. All the best in your studies in the future, and come back to South Africa and plow back in your country of birth. Thank you very much. 7 distinctions is what he has.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right.